Hey guys, I thought I'd start this new series. I don't know if I'll keep doing it in the car, but the thoughts are here now, so I wanted to kind of record this as I was thinking it. Essentially, today I want to talk about setting and achieving your goals. To give it a bit of context, my background, so my day job essentially is that of an occupational therapist. Within my job, one of the common things that I do day to day on a very regular basis is set goals with clients, large and small. But it's setting those goals in order to make change in their lives, to optimize their ability to do things. So it's a topic that's very well ingrained in my mind, and I thought I'd share my own personal experiences, a little bit of the professional knowledge and experience that I've got, and see if I could potentially make some change in your lives. So I'm assuming that if you click this video, you probably have a goal or something that you want to achieve in your life. It might be something as simple as I want to be able to lose a kilo in a week. It might be something as big as I want to climb Mount Everest. Whatever your goal is, physical, spiritual, mental, we're going to make it happen. Or I'm going to give you the tools, the framework, the mindset to at least embark upon that journey. You probably won't achieve it. You might not achieve it. I hope you do. I hope we all do. But the reality is, it's not an easy process, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if you do this thing that I tell you to do, you will achieve all your goals. And you could, but we all know how it ends, right? But either way, in the chance that we do achieve our goals, I hope this helps. So number one, right, I'm going to break it down to 5 different steps. Number 1 is knowing the reason, or finding your reason as to why you want to achieve this goal. A lot of people have goals. We make goals every day, ranging from goals in the workplace to get a promotion, in our love lives, to get a partner, to be more sociable, to have a better time with our friends. Whatever it is, we all have goals. We all have things we want to achieve. Some of them we achieve naturally. We are more inclined to progress towards doing something. Most we don't. The big ones, at least, are the ones we think we do, and unfortunately don't. Now, if you set yourself a reason, like really reflect internally, ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this goal? What is in it for me? What is in it for others? Ultimately, you do something for yourself, but having a good reason, having a good motive is going to keep you going when times get tough, when progress is difficult, right? To put it into a bit of an example, your motive essentially is your torch when you're trying to find your way through a dark cave. This torch is going to illuminate the way. Without the torch, you might stumble upon the path and find your way, but the likelihood, very low. Likelihood of you falling and breaking your leg, very high. So you want to try and eliminate as much risk, as much inability to do you set out to do as you can. So that's number 1. Give yourself that reason, reflect, understand why you want to do it, because this will keep you going when times get tough. Number 2, put your goal in a digestible framework. And so I guess what I mean by this is make the goal, or word it in a way for yourself that you understand exactly what it is that you want to achieve. For example, I can sit here and say, I want to speak Russian, right? Nice, go. I want to learn a language. Who doesn't? But it's not doesn't give me much direction. Doesn't tell me how. Doesn't tell me by when. Doesn't give me all these details. In my day-to-day work life, we use a framework called SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, and not to get bogged down in the details, but essentially what that translates to is making sure the goal gives you a path. So specific, I want to learn Russian. Measurable, I want to be able to speak or have a basic conversation with a native Russian speaker by the time I go to Russia next year. So that goal right there, compared to I want to learn Russian, tells me by when, why, how, it gives me these details. It makes it very clear for me. So setting that in the center of your goal is quite helpful, quite useful actually. Number 3, planning. So it's very important to pave the way, give yourself some steps. Know what your tools are, know what your resources are, know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are. Understand what you're up against, and what you have at your disposal. Think about it this way. Someone wants to climb Mount Everest. Someone wants to go on a multi-day hike. Let's use that one. And all they bring is their shoes, they bring a water filtration system, and they bring a tent. These are all important things, and no doubt you will need them. But what about the other things? What about, a knife, an axe, your bag, some rope, some food, some supplies, navigator, map? There's so many other things that are arguably essential for the trip as well. Sure, you may stumble your way through the trip. You may get where you need to go by the good graces of someone else, by sheer luck, by determination, but the chance that you will succeed in that journey is a lot lower now without the right tools, without the right planning. Exactly where you're going to go, how far you're going to travel, how long. Very important details. So really plan out the steps. You don't have to have the whole thing figured out from start to finish, but you need something to kind of push you in the right direction. And once you're on that path, you can start, sketching out where you're going to go next. You can start taking those steps, calculated steps. The 4th thing, very much as cliche as it is, right? And Nike said it best, is to just do it. So this step, execution. So it's good to, give yourself a goal, find the reason, plan. But unless you actually execute the goal, unless you actually embark on that journey, the chance of you succeeding, the chance of you achieving your goal, almost 0%. Unless your goal is to sit there and become more proficient in meditation and mindfulness, and obviously not to a high level, you're probably not going to achieve the goal. So really taking those steps, embarking upon that journey, utilizing all those previous steps, going through that plan, reevaluating your plan, understanding your reason. You have to follow through with that. You have to actually do it. Okay, we can try and manifest things into existence, but as we know, things don't tend to just happen on their own. There generally has to be some sort of action that causes a reaction. In this case, the action of you taking the steps, the reaction of you getting success towards your ultimate destination, your goal, right? And lastly, just as important, is to remain consistent. So you can do everything. You can push yourself 1 day, 2 days, you can plan, you can understand your reason why you're doing something, but unless you do the thing that you need to do consistently to get where you need to get, the path isn't going to travel itself, okay? In the hiking example, in that multi-day hiking example, someone can try and, get to the other side of the mountain in a day. They're not going to achieve it. Let's say it's molds like 50K, 60Ks, whatever it is. They won't get there. If they stop tomorrow, 10Ks in, suddenly you're not even at the start. You're not even in civilization, so you're in danger. 2, you got 50 more Ks to go. That's not going to travel itself. So you need to be consistent. Now, to give you a very clear example, let's say you've got a boulder. For whatever reason, you need to roll this boulder a whole kilometer, right? Down the road, down the hill, on the path. First day, you push it 10 meters, okay? And that's good. But to start moving this boulder, the amount of effort that you needed, let's say it was 100, 200, 300 kilos, let's go 300 kilos, right? You're very strong. You needed to push this 300 kilo boulder. It's quite immense. But once it was moving, it was still hard, but it was easier, right? Just the momentum kept it moving. The second you stopped after 10 meters, that boulder suddenly became as hard to push, if not harder, than it was the first day, okay? And the reason being is initially it was hard, you gave it momentum, you put some energy in there and it caused some momentum. When you stop, suddenly all that energy is gone, all that consistency is gone. And you have made some progress, which is fantastic, right? But the boulder is now not moving anymore. Now to push that boulder again, the reason why it'll be harder the second time, the third time, potentially, is when you first pushed it, you utilized some of your energy, you utilized some of your strength, and suddenly, unless you have a rest, unless you take a break, you're not going to get this back. And even still, the next time you push that boulder, it's going to be just as hard, if not harder, to push. So if you stay consistent, my windshield wiper is making a squeaky noise. I swear I'm not farting. If you stay consistent, that boulder will move much easier. Okay? So consistency is key. Real world examples, bodybuilders. You got Ronnie Coleman, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? These guys, they're Olympians, right? They're Olympians, right? Famous to the bodybuilding world, famous to people who don't even lift. But they didn't get to where they are, right? Just by lifting 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And sure, we can sit here and argue that they're on enhancers, right? They're on drugs. But that doesn't take away from the fact they achieved their goal. For them, they wanted to be the biggest, the best. So that was the tool, the resources they needed to get where they needed to get. I'm not saying, take drugs to become a bodybuilder, become massive, but you need to calculate what you want to do, why you want to do it, understand the risks, understand the positives, really think about it. And with consistency, with action, you can achieve your goals. And I guess just to further kind of finalize on this last point, because it is a very important point, unless you consistently do something, the chance of you succeeding is low. Take a smoker, for example, right? A smoker tries to quit. Most smokers try to quit multiple times in their life. Once, twice, 3 times. No success. Next week, they're back at it again. But it's the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th time this person stops where they finally quit. I mean, they weren't consistent. They didn't, stop smoking consistently. But they kept going back at it. And that's the other point. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Okay? I know I'm sitting here, I'm trying to, lay out the foundation, the ideal world. But in the ideal world, things don't happen in a day. A lot of us fail our goals. And when I say fail, I only mean temporarily, because if you go back to it like the smoker, if you go back to that goal, if you try and do it again, you're going to get further and further and further. Unless you're doing something completely wrong, in which case, potentially go back to the planning step, you will get towards your goal. You might not reach that exact goal, but you're going to be damn close. You're going to be able to smell it, taste it even. So yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about today. It was quite fresh on my mind. I just come back from work, so I thought I'd talk about it now. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't. Provide some feedback if you like as well. I guess I can improve from there. If there's something you want me to talk about that you think I might know something about, let me know. And even if I don't, I'll give it a shot. So yeah, look after yourselves, look after each other, and most importantly, have a lovely day.